What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I'm here to talk about more of our TLDR versions of the Unearthed Arcana playtest number 5. This time we're talking about feats. There's not too much here outside of the realm of epic boon changes. For those of you who are unaware, these are your 20th level feat options. Those are the majority of the changes, and that's honestly what we've seen a lot of in these Unearthed Arcanas, which we can kind of zoom in here and take a look. But you'll see they basically adjusted all epic boons to now be able to increase one ability score by one to a maximum of 30. Reminder, you get one of these at 20th level, and then you can get them at subsequent levels based on experience and things. Still no true epic level information, but a lot of these are the ones that were originally appeared in the Dungeon Master's Guide and have been adjusted. For example, whenever you attack or use magic, you can teleport for free. The energy resistance one is nice. Resistance to 2 damage types of your choice, and you can swap them on a long rest. Potentially with an inborn species / racial based energy resistance, you could be looking at 3 or more energy resistances, which is pretty nice. And then you can also redirect the energy, and then again resistances to damage. These took ones that were kind of boring previously and added a little something to them, like resistance to your bludgeoning, piercing, slashing weapons. Ignore resistance all the time, which is nice. And then when you roll a d20 on the attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to the ability score increased by this feat, right? So you could, if your strength score is 22, just stack on 22 more damage once per turn. But the main one I wanted to talk about here is the new Weapon Master feat, which Weapon Master is without a doubt, more often than not, by any list you look up on a worst feat list. If you were to look one up here on the internet or here on YouTube, Weapon Master, as it stands in the 2014 Player's Handbook, is quite possibly, if not without a doubt, the worst feat that exists. As it stands right now, it increases your strength or dexterity by 1 and lets you choose proficiency with up to 4 weapons. There are so many better ways to get proficiency with weapons and things, especially when they added the ability to swap things around with Tasha's Cauldron. This version of it takes that to a whole new level, and I greatly appreciate it. It is requirement that you be 4th level or higher to gain access to this feat, but you get strength or dexterity +1 to a maximum of 20. And it says your training with these with weapons allows you to use the mastery property of one kind of simple or martial weapon of your choice, provided you are proficient with it. So again, you have to have proficiency with the weapon, but this is a way for you, potentially a character who does not have access to weapon mastery. As it stands right now, the only characters or classes that have access to it that we know of are the barbarian and the fighter. We know that monk will get it eventually when it comes to their turn, allowing you to access things like those mastery properties that we've talked about in a previous video. But also, you get the benefit of whenever you finish a long rest, you can change the kind of weapon you choose to any other eligible kind. So, this is nice because it's also useful for things like barbarians and fighters who already get access to the weapon mastery opportunity. It gives them one more option and the ability to change that out on a long rest. I can't remember if that's an option for base weapon mastery from those classes. But either way, it just gives you access to another one. But if you wanted to be a cleric and possibly get the versatile damage from a long sword by wielding a sword and shield and doing a D10 damage, you could. Or a ranger and you wanted to be able to slow people with your longbow or whatever, push people back with your crossbow, whatever it is. These options are all able to be accessed by just taking this one little feat here at 4th level or higher. So I very much appreciate this because it works with anything you are proficient with and you can change it out on a long rest. This is great because if you find yourself gaining access to weapon proficiencies, whether that be from multi-classing down the line, gaining access to some sort of item or other thing, training that your DM allows your character to do to gain proficiency in a type of weapon, something along those lines, you do something like that, and now it still continues to benefit your weapon mastery feat that you took because you can now possibly use the mastery property of that weapon. Again, this is a very useful feat. I'm very excited to have it. It's something that if you're going to play someone who will be relying on weapons, potentially this should be something you would more than likely take if you don't have access to it. It also, there may be interesting combinations if you were to do something with this with, say, like I don't know, a sorcerer who has access to some weapon. If you had one that like you could hit somebody and slow them, then maybe like with a bonus action, quicken spell, Ray of Frost to also lessen their movement speed and hit them by 20 feet in a turn. There's a lot of funky things you could do with it, and I really appreciate it. So, this is a huge win, in my opinion. I like the Weapon Master feat, and that is it for the feats. So, the shortest one of these videos here. Next up, we're going to talk about the Barbarian. I think I'm going to break out the classes into their own individual videos, just so that if you want to learn about the Barbarian versus the Fighter, you don't have to sit through, you know, a 40-minute long video. It could just be, in an ideal world, a 20-minute long one. Anyway, folks, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and I will see you all next time.